Hey guys, and welcome to BH Live. My name is Brendon Hansford, and I'm a choreographer, director, and now a presenter here in Dubai. And this is my weekly podcast, and the aim is to interview some of the most amazing entrepreneurs, artists, business people. So many people here have got an amazing story. I want to get them on the show and get them talking about it. Now, every week we host this live at Super Madinette in Dubai. I think I said that right. And now we're actually going to go live on Facebook. So if you're watching this late, every Thursday, 5:30, we're going to go live. There's noises in the background, it's fine. But this week I've got an incredible guest called Peter Barlow, who is the principal of Sharjah Performing Arts, which is one of the only academies of its type in the MENA region.
It is the only.
It is the only
type.
type.
It's the only. It's
so
unique
tell everybody
in this area.
Your name, what you do, where you come from.
Okay. My name is Peter Barlow, and I'm the Executive Director of Sharjah Performing Arts Academy in Sharjah, which is in the United Arab Emirates, right next door to Dubai. I started out as an actor. Mm-hmm. That's a long, long time ago, before you were born, Brendon.
Literally before I was born.
So I went to drama school way back in the late 70s, early 80s. Went to Rosebruford College, which was a prestigious drama school.
Very good drama school.
Just outside London. In fact, Gary Oldman was in the year above me.
No way!
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Have you still got contact with him?
No.
Damn it! That was my way in.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no.
And so, as an actor, what sort of things did you do?
I would. Well, when I left drama school, I worked in theatre and education as a performer. In fact, the very first job I had, we created our own professional company. Touring schools in a VW bus.
Of course.
Of course.
What else would you do it in?
So there were 6 of us, and we were called stupidly Platform 6.
Of course.
I don't know why we chose that. I can't remember. But we used to go around all the schools in London. Doing shows and kind of doing theatre and education. A baptism of fire for any actor who has to perform in front of disinterested, uninterested kids who couldn't care less.
Yeah, I've been there and done it.
So that was fun, and then I did a variety of jobs doing commercials and a bit of TV, a bit of West End theatre, that kind of thing.
I love how you play it down, a bit of West End theatre, like it was just nothing.
It was just kind of odds and sods for about 3 years of just working as a jobbing actor. I was very lucky. I didn't really have that many gaps.
Oh, that's nice.
Which was really nice.
Yeah.
Which was good. And then I started working I was the kind of person that would, if somebody asked me to do something, I would do it. So I ended up going up to Liverpool to work with kids, underprivileged kids, in Halewood, where there was kind of, at the time, of course, in the 70s in the UK, mass unemployment. So there was, the kids were like the feral dogs on the streets. There were kind of packs of kids and packs of dogs wandering around, and we were trying to teach them drama.
Trying to teach you how to act. Teach you how to lie better.
So, but again, that was kind of exciting work. Whilst I was there, I worked at Liverpool Playhouse, and that was good, and that got me into directing, I think, and teaching.
I was going to say that obviously I know the kind of rest of your story already, but we're going to go into it. But do you feel like that had a strong influence over where you've got to today? Like going all the way back to then, like was it a spark in you and I love doing this?
Absolutely, I think so. And I think once I started directing, I realised that I actually preferred that than acting. Okay. So I preferred being on the other side than being on the stage.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably because one of the things I did, I can remember being on the stage and thinking, this is the most awful thing I've ever been in, and having to sit on my hands and hang on to the chair so I didn't get up and leave, Can you imagine that live performance?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not doing this anymore.
I'm done. I want to get out of here right now.
Just gonna walk off.
Just one more hour.
Yeah.
So how did you end up then transferring from being an actor to getting into directing?
Do you know? I don't know. I think it's probably
Best stories start that way.
I think it's probably just because somebody asked me to direct something, and I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. I'm quite happy doing that, and also I was always looking for work.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I
God,
sort of
yeah.
like, I don't want to not be working.
Yeah.
So I never had, and I know some people do have this kind of single-minded approach where they go, I want to be an actor, and that's all I'm going to do, and I'm going to not compromise. And actually, if you think about it, the people who do that tend to be extremely successful.
Yeah.
Because they've got that kind of that single-minded
laser focus
drive. I don't think I ever had that. I'm too much of a kind of collector.
I get it.
Eclectic sort of, trying to do lots of different things.
It's always a pain, right, when someone asks you, so what do you do? And you're like, choreographer, director, teacher, photographer, videographer. And
exactly.
you just read it off, you're like, what do you want me to do?
Don't know. I'll
so
try
I get
it.
that. Yeah, I can learn
why
it.
not? Yeah.
I still remember there's a job once, someone phoned me up, and I hope they're not watching. They were like, do you know how to do Kaylee dancing? And I went, yeah, 100% know how to do it. I spent the week watching YouTube videos, learning how to do it just for that job.
Yeah.
And the irony was I got on the job and they were all professional dancers in that style. So I could have just gone something like that across the floor and they probably would have done it.
Yeah.
So
when you do that,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So got to get that work, got to get that job.
Absolutely.
So tell us about the work you did as a director.
I worked for a company called Common Stock, directing, again back in London, directing shows, community theatre shows really, for them. I worked for a dance mime company called Gambling Geysers,
nice.
And they toured all over the country. So working in lots of different theatres, but with a very particular physical theatre style. So I worked for them. I was artistic director of an art centre in Portsmouth, where and a theatre company where we would tour shows into London. So a kind of wide range of things. Actually, and it was doing those kind of jobs that I suppose where I started to get into the kind of the administration or the organisational and the kind of the vision, the strategic aspects of the work I do now, I guess. And then from that's when I started getting asked to go into drama schools to teach acting. But also in the initial, the initial thing is that most of the drama schools in London or in the UK use freelance professional directors to direct their shows.
Cool.
So the first time I went into a drama school was to direct a show for that particular drama school.
Yeah.
And then it sort of went, I can't remember.
Put you on the spot now.
Yeah, you did now. I think it was Road by Jim Cartwright.
Okay.
Certainly that was one of the very early shows I did.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So
got you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, I'm talking a long time ago. Yeah. But so that was one of the first things. And then as a result of that, I actually really enjoyed working with student actors and realizing that, when you direct professionally, 80% of the job is the casting, getting the right people, and you have actors who are coming in with shed loads of experience, and you're working with them, and they know what to do. They know how to do it. And so your kind of role as a director is really just bringing all those elements together. Okay. Whereas when you're directing in drama school or when you're working with drama school students, actually your input is far greater, because actually what they're doing is learning their craft.
Yeah, sucking it up like a sponge.
Yeah, and actually beginning that process of understanding what it is you do as an actor in order to be able to convince an audience that you are who you say you are, and you're in the circumstances that you say you're in, So that's when I started getting the bug, if you like, for teaching. And the rest is history. No.
and I'm done. Right, see you later.
Yeah.
But you've worked all over the world, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I remember you said to me Korea, America. And was that as a director or educator?
No, as an educator, I've worked in. I went to a thing called the Theatre Olympics.
Okay.
Can you believe it? I was invited to this kind of thing called this event called Theatre Olympics, where basically it was in Seoul, and they set up this whole kind of program of events.
Yeah.
And I went there to talk about drama schools and how you teach actors. It was a fantastic event because they brought companies from all around the world, from America. Tadashi Suzuki was there, so I was on the same stand as him.
Yeah.
Robert Wilson from America is a sort of well-known kind of avant-garde actor who does the most amazing kind of experiential theatre shows. So a whole variety of people that I was working with there. Been to Beijing.
Nice.
Taught in Oslo quite a lot. So I worked with a company in Oslo, and in fact I directed 2 shows there in Norwegian. That's an experience.
I was about to say, how did you deal with that?
That's good. Well, to be fair, it was Spring Awakening and Nine, and of course I know both of them as
very well.
know both the musicals in English, so it was a question of just making sure that the translation
cues are in the right place.
It made some sense. But we did both of those shows, and they were performed in Norwegian. I've worked in Italy, in Bologna, and again, same thing. Actually, I directed Romeo and Juliet, which was actually then translated into Italian. So,
wow! So you've been requested by a lot of people from around the world.
And United States.
Yeah.
So Santa Monica, Tampa Bay, New York.
Wow.
So.
And what was your favourite show to work on?
Oh gosh. I think I have to start with favourite musical, which is West Side Story.
Hey!
And I can't wait to see Spielberg's new version of it.
I was literally about to say that.
I mean it's coming.
And, I wonder what he's going to do.
Well, yeah.
Because it's not going to be
Have
what we
Have you seen the
I
trailer?
haven't, no.
Oh, no,
I just heard it was coming.
Must watch the
I need
trailer.
to look at that.
It's quite exciting.
And where was that in the world?
So that West Side Story was when I was principal director at Guildford School of Acting.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
and it was great. And we did that in the local theatre. We did that in the Yvonne Arnaud. And it was just, it was it was my last show there as well. So it's got I've got really fond memories of doing that.
And what sort of educational establishments have you worked at up till now that are kind of that you were in a higher role for?
Okay. So Guildford School of Acting, Academy of Live and Recorded Arts, Lane Theatre Arts.
All extremely big schools. If you're not from the UK, look them up because they're the biggest in the UK. So give us your top 3 highlights of your career. And it doesn't have to be your favourite show. It can be the ones that give you the biggest credit. It can be the ones you just enjoyed the most. But yeah, top 3 in order, just to make it harder.
No. That's a painful question. Do you know the top highlight? I think was coming here
And meeting me.
And meeting you.
Of course.
Sitting in this booth. No, that was actually coming here and arriving and seeing the empty space or the concrete shell of this extraordinary Sharjah Performing Arts Academy, and seeing that building right from the beginning, where I walked in and it's all a hard hat site, and you're just walking around and going, wow.
Yeah.
Look at the space here.
Yeah.
Look at the amazing facilities that are possible. And being involved right at the beginning of that, and being able to say, no, you can't just build a stage without an orchestra pit.
Yeah.
And then them saying, okay, well, we'll build you an orchestra pit, but not only will we do that, but we'll make it hydraulic, so it's in the front of the stage and it goes up and down.
So literally.
So things like that. So actually, we need a gym.
Yeah.
And them going, yeah, okay.
Okay, we can fit that here. We can make a gym
We'll just put the gym
Yeah.
in. And sort of, so in terms of
Wow.
highlights, this has been such an exciting project to
Yeah.
build a kind of a theatre, a theatre school, a performing arts academy
yeah.
from nothing.
Yeah. And that's nuts.
And being on my own
Yeah.
and arriving here and going,
What the hell?
what do I do?
What's going on?
You know, I know how to
Yeah.
run organisations,
Yeah.
but I think probably for most people this
Yeah.
would be a unique experience of going, I've got to start from scratch here. I've got to build a team. I've
Well,
got to have the
I
vision.
know from when you invited me to see the academy, I spent the whole time doing this. My mouth dropped to the floor going, what is this place?
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible place. So you've done a good job to help them get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess my, you know, in some ways my highlights sound like building projects.
That's fine.
But,
It works.
but also taking, when I first arrived at Guildford School of Acting, they were working in 8 different sites across the whole of this Guildford town.
Yeah.
So students would be running from one venue to another, or it would be a church hall at the top of the high
That sounds
street.
familiar. Yeah.
You'd imagine.
Yeah.
And in some ways, you know, that's kind of exciting for students, and it was great, and it gave us good exposure in
Yeah.
the town. But actually, the school needed a permanent site.
Yeah.
So before I left Guildford, that was the thing that I think I was most proud of there.
Yeah.
Was again being involved in the design and the creation of a brand new
Wow.
a brand new school for them and
Yeah.
a brand new art centre.
Okay.
So yeah,
Amazing.
So that was exciting. Alongside that, when I see graduates, when I see people that I've taught, when I see
Your
them
work
succeeding,
being played.
well,
yeah.
absolutely. I guess
Yeah.
it's sort of, you know, you go, that's an endorsement. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
That's
When you-
your credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my credits are when somebody wins an Olivier Award, and you
Yeah.
kind of go, yeah, well, I taught that
Yeah.
student. you know.
Okay. Amazing.
So,
Why now
yeah.
and why Sharjah? So obviously normally that question is why Dubai, but you're from Sharjah. So for the people that don't know what Sharjah is, maybe give them a quick
Okay,
sort of
so
introduction.
Sharjah is an emirate that is north of Dubai.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd largest emirate in the United Arab Emirates. Abu Dhabi is the largest, and then Dubai, and then Sharjah. And actually, it kind of works that it goes south to north, you know, as you go up the country. Sharjah is known as the kind of the cultural capital of the Middle East, because whilst Dubai sort of has that kind of tourist and is you know, a really exciting, vibrant city, cosmopolitan place to be, Sharjah is the government of Sharjah, and particularly His Highness the ruler of Sharjah, have concentrated on the kind of the culture and education. And where the academy is, as you've seen, we're in a place called University City, which has nearly 40,000 students on this incredible campus.
Wow.
Which is, and the architecture is all classical style, but the technology inside is kind of, you know,
Crazy.
Yeah. And Sharjah is a beautiful city, and it's to get to our academy is, to put it in context, geographical. We're about 10 to 15 minutes from Dubai Airport.
Yeah. So you're actually kind of closer than.
So so we're closer than where we are now. You know? So and certainly if you're going down to Expo, don't go to Dubai Airport. It's too far away.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
But so we're kind of we're really close. It's a beautiful city actually.
Yeah.
And
It
you've
really
seen,
is. Yeah,
because
I've
you've done
I've
some
done the
live
recce's,
footage
I've
now.
done the footage, I've seen it
Some
on many
amazing
occasions.
places, but also some amazing cultural places like the House of Wisdom, which they've just built, which is this extraordinary library.
Yeah. Looks like something out of a space age movie.
It does, doesn't
it's
it?
crazy.
Yeah. And then they've got the heart of Sharjah, which is a more traditional, but still houses some of the most contemporary art galleries in the whole of the UAE.
Yeah. So for the people that don't know, I've been working with Peter as a director to help them create some commercials to promote their academy. So just to put context in there, so people aren't going, how does he know so much? So how did you end up here? You know, how did you get the job to do what you're doing now?
Interesting kind of train of events is that the chairman or the ex-chairman of Guildford School of Acting told me this job was going, and I sort of made initial inquiries, and then I was invited out here by His Highness to go and meet him. And that happened in December, and he said yes, he would like me to set up the academy.
Yeah. So when you met him, was this like a dinner? Was this
no, I went to his palace.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Standard thing, you know.
Yeah.
Just pop round to the palace, say hey.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah. How did, like, don't say too much, obviously, but how did that go, and how were you feeling?
In awe, really, and also because he is such an intelligent man and so well read. He writes history books, he writes plays.
Wow.
He's a true man of the theatre. He supports so many festivals and events, theatrical events, not just in Sharjah, but also around this region, around the Arab world.
Incredible.
His influence is extraordinary, and he's got really strong connections with some universities in the UK. He's earned 3 PhDs.
Of course.
As you do.
As you do, you know.
And he has, I can't remember how many, but it's well into the 20s, 30s, maybe even more than that, honorary doctorates that have been awarded to him because he is such a kind of influencer on education. And I just have tremendous admiration for him. And this... And the academy is his vision, is his idea.
That was literally my next question. Is what is his aim behind creating this academy?
To bring people together, to have an international environment which hopefully improves the professional performing arts. That creates entrepreneurial students who will go out into their own countries, but also stay in the Emirates and create work. To give also, I think it's about giving students the opportunity to have a conservatoire style education.
Okay.
And I think that was that was an important aspect of it for him, because he gives people from the Arab world full scholarships.
Tell us more about that.
If you're from the Arab world and you get a place at the academy, then your education is paid for and your accommodation is paid for.
Wow. You don't even get that in England.
No, absolutely not. No, it's extraordinary, and it's extraordinarily generous of him to provide that opportunity for people from, not just from the United Arab Emirates, but from all over the Arab world. Now, that was the other thing I had to do, was a kind of feasibility. What's a kind of Westerner doing in Sharjah, running a professional performing arts academy where the programs are taught in English and all of those things. Well, the expertise for performing arts education comes from the Western world. And I don't mean to be arrogant saying that, but it just,
I don't think many people would disagree with you.
A fact. And bringing that expertise into this environment and allowing interested, committed students to have access to that is a fantastic opportunity. And a great vision on the part of His Highness.
Okay, and what type of courses do you have?
So we've got BA, so we've got undergraduate programs which are fully accredited, and we're a licensed higher education institute in musical theatre, acting and production arts. And production arts is everything that happens in theatre, backstage, or in recorded arts. behind the camera.
Yeah. And is there anything else new coming? Any new courses?
Well, yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah. So we are, and we've launched it today. We are
International
very
Dance
excited.
Day.
Yeah. Really excited to be able to tell people that in September we will have a 3-year dance diploma at the Academy.
Perfect.
Where we're working with a UK-based validation agency, so that we will have a validated 3-year diploma,
which will be internationally recognised.
Which will be internationally recognised, which will allow students from the age of 16 to come and do a 3-year course.
Yeah.
And then maybe even go to the UK and do a 1-year top-up to get their BA in dance.
Yeah. Amazing. So it's pretty much very similar to stuff in the UK already.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly that.
And I hear the teachers that are going to be on that course are incredible.
Oh, they are. Yes.
Yeah, I wonder who that could be.
I wonder who might be doing
really,
some
really good
teaching with us. Yeah.
Amazing. So
and we've got, Alex, who you know, Alex Jessup.
Alex Jessup, incredible guy.
West End performer, musical theatre, extraordinary performer, is heading up that course, that program.
Very driven.
Incredible dance teacher as well. And so we're trying to bring in the best.
Yeah.
Bringing the best teachers into the Middle East.
Wow.
There's a huge market here.
Yeah. What an opportunity to be one of the first students to come onto this type of course, which is the first in the MENA region.
And I have to say this, that if you live here and you were thinking of going to the UK to become or to do professional dance in the UK, you can now do it here and at half the cost.
Yeah.
With the same quality of teachers.
Yeah.
And even better facilities.
I won't disagree with you on that. I've seen them, so they're very good.
Absolutely, you can come and do your 3-year diploma in our palace.
I was going to say it's like a palace. That was literally running through my head. Yeah. So you have teachers literally from all around the world?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Australia, Canada. I don't think we may be having somebody from USA in September.
Nice. Very cool.
England, Wales, Scotland.
Yeah.
Nobody from Ireland yet.
No one from Ireland now.
So if there's anybody out there from Ireland, we've got to get somebody in.
Okay.
But just Poland.
Yeah.
Actually, Zenon, who's one of our acting teachers, he's Polish, but he's worked in America most of his taught some of the most amazing people.
Yeah. No, the teachers do look incredible.
And then Raman, who's from India, Bollywood actor, you know.
And what's it like working in a facility with so many different cultures? And obviously they've all been trained in very different ways. Is it a really chilled environment, or is there a lot of banter?
It's a performing arts college.
I know,
How
this
can
is
it be chilled?
It's never chilled, but does it run smoothly? Is there bumps in the road but then lead to positive situations? What's it like working in that environment?
No, it's fantastic because there's so much sharing and that kind of cultural mix. And also it's a kind of finding that mutual respect for everybody and saying, okay, so one of the things that I wanted right from the beginning was this idea that collaboration runs across everything that we do in the academy. Not just in terms of you need to collaborate if you're making shows.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it goes without saying.
Yeah, but you don't. Sometimes you're collaborating with people and you think, actually, I don't really know what they do.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've created this idea that as soon as students arrive at the academy, they do a kind of a year when everybody does everything.
Okay.
So learn all about the other areas of theatre. So if you're a production artist and you come, you have to do a musical theatre class.
Brilliant.
Which
Amazing.
is kind of, which for somebody who's never been on stage or whatever, and they're asked to stand up and sing a song, it's kind of like, whoa, hang on, that's not what I do. But actually understanding
what the singer goes through.
What the singer goes through.
Yeah.
And then the singer,
reverse role. Yeah.
Absolutely. Then the musical theatre performer has to go and work in the paint shop or make a costume.
Yeah.
You know.
Or make them work with sound and lighting,
Yes.
which is the best idea in the world.
Yes.
Because I know, I won't mention names, but I know performers that get frustrated with the sound and light. And you're like, do you realise what they have to do just to get to that one cue and get to that cue?
Just to light you.
Yeah. And like patience. So it's a great idea because suddenly there's a greater understanding. So when you're on stage and you're doing your tech run, for example, you know, you're not there going, come on. You're going, oh, they're cool. I know what they're doing. So
I know what they
do you
have
need your
to
hands?
go through.
You know, I kind of know a little bit if you want me to help in any way. Yeah.
And again, in my experience in drama schools in the UK, what happens is that the courses are all separate.
Yeah.
So they don't really meet each other until they start doing productions at the end of their 3 years, when production students start working on shows that actors or musical theatre performers are doing.
Yeah.
And that's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Really.
And what was going to be my next question? What is your aim for the Academy? So you told us what the Shake's aim is. What about yours?
My vision for the Academy is to have an international academy, professional performing arts academy, that turns out highly skilled individuals who can turn their hand to being entrepreneurs if they wish to, but having the skills to be excellent performers. Yeah. But having a view on the world where they can, if they have the legal right to, they can go anywhere. Yeah. They can work anywhere. Yeah. I think if I'm talking about a legacy, I want to leave an academy that is highly respected because of its innovative teaching methods, because it turns out extraordinary professionals. And because it's an exciting, vibrant place to be, and it's part of the community. Yeah,
I'm glad you said entrepreneur, because I've been drumming on for years. I even have a documentary out called Building a Dancer, and it's all about, as a dancer, as a performer, you need to treat yourself as a business. You need to be an entrepreneur, because it's the only way to get work these days.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not like 20 years ago where you could walk around with your CV and your headshot, and that's it. You show up to audition, you might get the job, you might not. Now you have to be able to brand yourself. You have to be able to, network.
Hasn't that been absolutely driven home by what's happened in the last year?
Oh my God! And do you know the funny thing about what's happened in the last year is you're gonna see who are the people that didn't sit on their hands and watch Netflix all day. Yeah. The ones that were on the computer, emailing, reaching out, contacting. I'm here in Dubai.
Yeah.
You know, and we met through an acquaintance and. It all connected through networking. I wouldn't be here. Yeah. You know, and I think you guys were one of my first meetings here, and I got to come see the bit. I think that was first or second. I think it was our second, because I remember the first conversation because I didn't know Dubai, so it was still very new. And I was like, guys, I looked at public transport, and it's like 3 hours away. And you replied saying, "Are you in Abu Dhabi?" I was like, "No, I don't have a car." And I went, "Oh, yeah," because I was trying to get around on public transport here. And now I have a car, I understand that I will never be doing public transport again. Yeah. It's a difference between a 10-minute drive or an hour on public transport here.
Absolutely.
And obviously trying to get from Sharjah to Dubai.
Having said that, you can get the most, and it's something that you can do if you're a tourist. You can actually get a bus from Dubai to Sharjah for 10 dirhams.
Oh, of course. But in England, that's £2.
Yeah.
Although that's about 1/10 of a tank of petrol, isn't it? Yeah. It's so cheap. It's amazing out here. Yeah. Right. What's the next question? So, what would you say? Actually, no, I'm going to go back a question. What is your kind of 6-month and 5-year goal for yourself and Sharjah Performing Arts?
6-month goal is to get the dance program up and running. Yes. Is to make sure that we recruit all of the new staff and get them inducted into the academy, because that's
and get them used to the UAE.
And get them used to the UAE. Yeah. Well, because it's a really big move.
Yeah, it is.
And actually, we try and be really careful about that process. Yeah. Because it is important that people understand that they're coming into a completely new culture. Yes. And there's some significant differences. Yeah. And having said that, the lifestyle.
Beautiful. I was here a week before I decided to stay.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the 6-month goal. and also to make sure the new students who are joining us, because we're only 2 years in.
Yeah.
So
still so new, and obviously
so
you've
we're
had
still-
coronavirus in the middle of that.
Yeah.
So God, you opened and then it happened, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
So we've got through that. No problems.
You just got through that. Yeah.
And we've got new students arriving, and actually our first students go into their 3rd year. So
Wow.
we still haven't got to a graduation yet.
Yeah.
Long-term 5-year vision is to have an academy which has got a kind of a wide portfolio of programs.
Yeah.
So maybe even adding in music.
Yeah.
And certainly adding in postgraduate
Yeah.
study for directors, choreographers,
Wow.
lighting designers, and so on.
Amazing.
So all the creative team roles, really.
Yeah.
So that's next step.
Yeah.
And that will.
Amazing.
I think that'll take us, given the way that the UAE works,
Yeah.
that'll take us a few years.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to someone who's looking to get into the performing arts industry?
I think you wrote "break into."
Did I?
Yeah, on your question.
I did
You
break
did.
into the industry.
Right.
I've changed it up.
I'm gonna okay, because I like that because I was gonna say,
Yeah.
don't break into the industry.
Yeah.
Train, work really
God.
hard,
Yeah.
focus, and then the doors will open for
Yeah.
you.
Stay true,
You
and the
know.
rest will follow.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but also absolutely
Yeah.
you don't get anywhere in this world without practice
Mm.
and hard work
Yeah.
and motivation and that kind of
Yeah, that's true.
we were talking about it earlier,
Yeah.
that single-mindedness
Yeah.
to do something, and then practice.
Yes. Repeat. Rinse and repeat.
Repeat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Do you know, I feel like, especially with dance, because obviously that's kind of
Yeah.
my main profession
Yeah.
from the past, is practice, repeat, making failures, learning.
Absolutely.
It's the only way to learn.
Of course.
You have to make mistakes.
Of course.
So, so many people beat themselves up when they
Yeah.
make mistakes. It's like, no, you've just learned what you shouldn't do. It's
But-
the only thing in the world.
I
You
know,
have to
but
make mistakes.
Unfortunately, the education system doesn't allow people to
know.
make mistakes. So that's
Yes.
why, again, in the first and second year, in our programs,
Yeah.
there's no exams or assessment.
None at all.
No, it's
Purely
all,
there for you to make mistakes.
It's
and-
all formative
Correct.
assessment,
Yeah.
which is based on feedback,
Nice.
students having individual learning
Yeah.
plans, students progressing at their own rate.
Yeah.
Because we all learn at different rates.
Yeah.
We all kind of acquire. You'll pick up a dance step quicker than I will.
Used to.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's
Oh yeah,
kind
but
of,
if you give me lines to learn, it
Yeah.
will take me forever.
there you go.
I'm so bad at
There you
remembering
go.
names, lines, everything.
Yeah.
But give me an hour's plus of choreography and I'll remember everything.
Yeah.
So weird. And no, go on.
So breaking into the
Yeah.
industry, practice. Doors will
Yeah.
open. You have to have that kind of. You have to arrive at a place where you've got the confidence
Train.
to be able to walk in the door
Yeah.
without breaking it down.
Mm.
Because if you start to break into this industry, you'll be banging your head against a brick wall.
Yeah. Okay.
The talent shows are fake.
Really?
Yeah. The talent shows are fake.
They're all
So
rigged
many
for a
of those
start,
shows
yeah.
that people do, and you
Yeah.
kind of go, oh, they're so amazing. They're amazing because they've been training for 10 years.
Yeah. Exactly. And then the producer as well.
Yeah,
Has probably had a hand in a
Knows
lot of
how
it.
to
Yeah.
cut things.
Yeah, knows how to make it look like that person's
Yeah.
going to win.
Yeah,
And
of course.
I've heard stories. I won't mention names or shows, but I've heard stories where they know they've won before anyone else knows they've won.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we know
don't always believe what you see on TV.
No,
Just-
I think that's
just
really
be aware.
important. Please
Yeah,
don't.
please don't. So, how have you found? Obviously, the MENA region is very different to the Western world.
Yeah.
How have you found that kind of overcoming? I'm trying to use my words really carefully. You'll probably get there quicker than me because you've been here longer. But obviously, they come to do performing arts. In performing arts, there's no holds barred. From doing a musical like Hair, where there's nudity. Over to Chicago, which is really sexy, and just having that kind of mindset of just being raw. How have you found that with the kind of MENA? Is it MENA or MENA?
I say MENA, but it's probably MENA.
Anyway, so from the MENA region, because
Yeah.
people who've lived and grown up in these areas have not had the same upbringing as someone like us from England.
No.
So how have you overcome that for the people at Sharjah Performing Arts? You didn't know this question was coming, did you?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
It's a good one, though.
For me, the performing arts and creating productions and creating theatre or television or film, for that matter, is all about solving problems. Yes. So I did, problems presented about how do you say, for example, well, actually recently we've had to get round the fact that people can't stand closer than 2 meters apart.
Yeah.
And they're wearing masks.
Yeah.
And we've had to kind of work with that.
Yeah.
So you work with it.
Yeah.
Culturally, there are certain things that I wouldn't do here.
Yeah.
But I think also artists are slightly rebellious.
Yes.
So we will be.
No, not are they?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's some boundary pushing to be done, because in my view, if we're involved in the arts, we're also involved in kind of just shining a light upon the world and hopefully allowing people to have some kind of experience where they go away and they think about some of the ideas that are presented. And sometimes the arts will offend.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point, isn't it, in some cases? Not always, obviously, but...
I'm not sure that it's always necessary.
No.
I think there are ways of having the dialogue without offending people.
Yeah.
Having said that, somebody is always going to be offended.
I literally was about to say those exact words, and the art is designed to create emotion.
Yeah, you can't win on that score.
No.
But it's about just careful negotiation, and it's also about talking to people so you understand the reasons behind the culture.
Well, I always got told that if you're not offending anyone, you're doing something wrong. That was what I always got told. That someone needs to be offended to know that you're doing something right. Because then they're actually watching you. They're actually looking at what you're doing rather than just turning off or zoning out.
Yeah.
So this one's more kind of about you. What would you say is the most challenging moment in your life? It can be personal, it can be work related, and how did you overcome it?
Right. I'm just going to tell you about kind of not a scary, I suppose a scary moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we're doing a production of Sweeney Todd, the musical.
Right. I don't know why I'm laughing already, but go on.
And we'd rehearsed it, and everything going really well. And we built this most amazing set.
Yeah.
With the barber's chair, where if Sweeney pressed a button, the chair would turn into a slide.
Yes.
So instead of tipping back, because we kind of felt like that was
risky.
Well, it wasn't. It was sort of risky, but we could have done it. But we wanted this kind of so instead of being a chair, it would just go flat, like a door,
like an escalator.
And then there would be this tube.
Okay.
A trap door would open.
Yeah.
And then the actor would slide down this tube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then go off, and the tube would kind of curve around, and go off stage.
Yeah. Right.
So we created this kind of slide.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked. But it was so fast, right?
Ooh, yeah.
That what was happening is that the actors were actually bashing their hips as they were going down the slide. And so we had actors kind of bruised hips and kind of massive great welts on their thighs. Going, and this was during the tech rehearsal because the chair hadn't been ready to have in rehearsals. So we only had it in the tech rehearsal. So we were padding the actors because we didn't have time to kind of fix it or anything. And we got to 7:25, and going up at 7:30 with the audience waiting in the
Yeah.
actual auditorium, and we hadn't opened a house,
Yeah.
and we only just finished the tech.
Right, guys, no break.
With
Let's go.
with no idea
Yeah.
whether this chair was going to kind of
Wow.
break somebody's legs or hips or whatever.
Wow.
And the actors being so brave
Yeah.
about, I think actually they kind of could have turned around and said, actually, we're not doing this.
No, they could have done.
You know.
Yeah.
But they all did, and luckily it worked. But
Thank
wow,
God. Yeah.
that was the scariest. That was one of the scariest moments.
Amazing. I was gonna say I don't know what I would do. Would I? I probably would. I think my worst was I was on stage dancing. It was an hour and a half show. I broke my foot about 30 minutes in,
Oh no!
and
you
I knew I
carried on?
hurt it. I didn't know what I'd done,
Yeah.
and I just kept dancing on the pain and got through. The adrenaline got me
Oh my
through.
gosh.
Came off stage and my foot was 4 times the size. Like, it was silly. Like, I should have got off stage and let the swing come on. But yeah, I just kept going. I was like, I'm not going
No.
off stage. I think it was a one-time show, so it wasn't like a 6-month contract, because I think I would have gone, I'm off, laters, great leave. I've done the show 5 months in a row
Yeah.
anyway, but it was like a one-night show, so I was like, I'm not missing this, that was an opportunity. So I think that's the worst I've done when it comes to being on stage.
Crazy.
There have been a lot of hairy moments.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your biggest attribute that's helped you get to the level that you're at, and why do you think it's so important?
Being open, I think. Being
Okay.
generous, where possible. Being determined,
Yeah.
actually. Having a kind of, and I think, well, I like to think that I have good vision of how things can be.
Okay. And that's probably the director in you, right, coming out.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's, if you're a director, you need to see the whole picture,
Mm.
and you need to see how you can bring together a whole load of different
Yeah.
aspects of something, and kind of create
Yeah.
something
Couldn't agree more.
that works effectively with all of those disparate kind of
Yeah.
components.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of the point in the podcast where I give you a chance to talk about 3 topics. But I'm looking at them and I'm thinking we've covered a lot of them.
We've done them.
So let me see if there's
Yeah.
anything you want to add to each of these topics. The first one was the art of acting.
Just to say that the people think acting's easy.
Mm.
People probably think that actually, to be a dancer, to be a musician, you have to learn. But to be an actor, all you have to do is be able to speak.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely not true.
Yeah.
Because actually, if that were the case, then we wouldn't pay
Right.
Hollywood movie stars the kind of money that we pay them
Yeah.
to create for you, the audience, the illusion of reality
Yeah.
on screen. Because when you watch something, you don't want to be thinking this isn't real. You don't want to be thinking this isn't. I can't lose myself in the action.
And the immersiveness of it.
You want to be watching that, going, this person is going through that experience, and that takes huge amounts of skill.
Oh my God.
And in some ways, for me, the training of actors, this is why the training of actors is really important,
Yeah.
is that you wouldn't let a musician, you wouldn't let somebody who can't play a musical instrument into an orchestra.
No.
So why would you let somebody who's never learned how to act walk onto a stage?
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
So there you go. That's
Yeah.
on the art of acting.
And the second one was training to be a professional performer.
You must. I mean,
You've got to train.
come on.
Train.
Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't
It
agree
goes
more.
back to that. Goes back to opening doors in the industry. If you want to be a professional, you have to be like an Olympic athlete. You can't. You can't be. This is a hobby.
No. It's a lifestyle.
It's absolutely a kind of some people have said to me that the word vocation is kind of a bad word, but
Okay.
it is a vocation.
Yeah.
It's a way of life. It's not for everybody who's involved in this
Yeah.
industry. It's not a 9 to 5 job.
No.
You know,
It's a wake up to sleep job.
You know, it's not working to live. It's living to work.
Yeah.
You know, it's that way round.
Yeah. It's funny because there's a question I wasn't going to ask you, but I'm going to kind of put it in now. Is at the end we do a funny lightning round, and it's always work hard or play hard, and you have to pick one. And I remember when I first got asked it, I said play hard, and they went, really? Because you've just been talking about how hard you work. I said my work is play.
Yeah.
I love what I do, and I play constantly.
Well,
so yeah, you get to play and love life, and earn a living from it.
It's the same thing, and I think that's again for me the kind of we are so privileged,
Yes.
actually, because of that.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people in this world who have to work in order to live.
Yeah.
And so I think that for me that's a kind of humbling thing. That's something where I say, throughout my life, I have been so lucky to do the things I want to do and be able to earn a living from it.
Yeah.
Not many people can say that.
Yeah. And the last subject, directing for theatre.
That's such fun because I want to go back to that problem solving.
Yeah.
And it's my favourite activity, and I don't get to do enough of it.
Oh, let's do something.
Yeah, well, we've got to
collaborate on that. Yeah.
It's. I think you need to. This is going to sound. There's some great directors out there who've never been actors.
Yeah.
But for me, the important learning experience for me was being an actor.
Yeah.
Before I became a director.
Yeah. I get that. I would agree that being a dancer before I became a choreographer was hugely important.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have got where I got to without doing it. But again, like you said, I know a million choreographers that are incredible that have come out of college going, I just want to be a choreographer.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And I just want to create. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to. Yeah.
But
So
different people's journeys, that's
exactly.
exciting.
That's kind of where I was going to go with that.
Yeah.
So kind of coming back to Sharjah Performing Arts a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we're going to promote it now. What are you guys doing different to, shall we say, like the schools in the UK? What are you doing extra? What are you not doing that you feel like maybe that's not working anymore? Because obviously times have changed a lot in the last 10 years with the birth of social media, internet, and so on. There are a lot of things that I have my opinions, and I've expressed them on this podcast many a times about the educational system in the UK when it comes to dancers specifically. And there's things I think need to go, and there's things I think need to be brought in.
Yeah.
At Sharjah Performing Arts, what is it you're looking to do differently?
Well, the first thing that we're doing differently is that fundamentals year.
Yes.
Is that kind of is that idea of collaboration, of bringing people together who perhaps have different skill sets, and saying, for the moment, let's learn something. Let's discover what works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
By all working together and by all going through the same experience.
Yes.
The second thing is that I think the drama schools in the UK are oil tankers.
Okay.
They take a lot of turning round.
Yeah.
But because we've been able to start from the beginning, from scratch.
Yeah.
We've created programs that address what's needed today.
Yeah.
And that's why we'll be doing quite a lot of work for the actors, for example, on motion capture, on working green screen, on getting those recorded media skills that they're going to need for a future of working.
Which you have in the building.
Yeah, which we've got in the building.
You have a green.
We've got a green screen.
Cove.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's nuts.
We've got black magic cameras. We
3.
can do.
I was geeking out a little bit.
Not to be greedy.
And you have a Da Vinci Resolve editing center.
Yeah, we've got absolutely
the proper one.
Yeah.
I was just like,
so you go.
Yeah.
So we've got the technology to be able to do that work. And I want to give. And the other thing that I think is really important is that the drama schools in the UK are feeding an already existing industry.
Yeah.
And there's a certain amount of pressure on them to turn out people who will go into the West End shows, or will work on television, or will do the #1 tours, or those kind of, and that's how they measure their success.
Yes.
And we love it, when somebody does really well and gets an Olivier Award, as I said, or
straight on social.
Exactly. And it's like, it's one of our graduates, and we taught that person all those skills.
I did that.
But there isn't anything like that here.
No.
And the industry here in this region is new. So the students have to be entrepreneurs.
They've got to create it.
They have to be able to not just
How exciting.
be one thing.
Yeah. That's so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you say
And
to
so
me, like,
that's
there's nothing here like that, I was like, oh, can I be that person to create that?
most of the events companies, where do they get their performers from?
Yeah.
They all come from outside the region.
Yeah, at the moment.
At the moment.
We want to change that.
Of course we will.
Yeah.
And we will change that.
We will, don't worry. All over that. We're
Yeah.
definitely going to go. Oh, I had a really good question. It's completely slipped my mind. No, I wanted to say something. It's one of the things I was very impressed about Sharjah Performing Arts is you actually look after the mental health.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. 'Cause
Phenomenally
this is a big thing
important.
for me. Yeah.
It's just kind of, and I might say something controversial here.
Please do. I love a bit of controversy.
People who work in the professional performing arts, I think, are outliers. They're people who perhaps don't see themselves as fitting into normal life. I think you
Couldn't
called
agree
it-
more. Yeah.
You kind of called it muggles earlier
Yeah.
on, to use
Muggles,
a
normal
kind
people,
of
yeah.
Harry Potter
We don't
term.
fit into the normal
Yeah.
societal norms. Yeah.
No. And so alongside that, you get a lot of people who are coming into the academy who need emotional support. They need to kind of take care of their own well-being,
Yes.
to look after the way. To look after how they are going to tackle some of the things that they're going to be asked to do in the academy.
Yeah.
And so we have a kind of strong kind of well-being base. We've got mental health first aiders in the building.
Yeah.
We have counsellors. We also have kind of weekly sessions for the students, which are based around mindfulness.
More like life coaching.
And life coaching, problem solving, and so on. And we also talk about you have to. It goes back to what I was saying about how people progress. People progress at a kind of different at different rates, but also people's emotional states are different.
Yeah.
So we look after the students more than we teach subjects.
Open for you. So this is your last bit. If there's anything else you want to say, any promotion, how to get hold of Sharjah Performing Arts, any students, how they can apply. So
First
camera.
First thing is go to the website. So spaa.ae, very simple. The next thing is if you want to make an application, there's an online application process for the undergraduate programs. If you're interested in the new dance diploma, then you need to send an email to dance@spaa.ae, and that's spaa.ae.
I'll whack it all in the message below.
And then we'll be able to send you information about auditions for the dance diploma. Come and see us anytime you like. It's a worthwhile journey.
Just to see the building.
Just to have a look around and see, and come and see the work we do. You're very welcome.
Thank you for coming on. So, thank you for coming on.
Pleasure.
Absolute pleasure to talk to you. I think this has been the longest one, so we've been chatting a long time. I didn't realise.
Oh my goodness.
It's been great though. I didn't even notice the time go. And guys, if you're watching this, then please come and join us if you're in Dubai at Souk Medinat. Every Thursday at 5:30, we'll have a completely different guest every week, and you can have a drink. They've got an alcohol license now, so come and have a beer, or come grab some food, have some shisha, and enjoy the show where we'll be on the screen. And if you are watching this in post, then we are going to be live on Facebook every single week now through the Street Diversions Facebook page. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Catch you later.
Thanks. Bye.